Hello everyone, how are you? Are you guys good?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. So my name is Gizem. You can call me Gigi if it's easier for you. Before we start, I see some questions on the chat box. I will answer them really shortly. So for those newcomers, we upload our classes to our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search for Clasital, you can watch our previous classes online. So you can find any of them there. But also these classes, they're not like we kind of repeat the things we say in our classes. They just have like different themes and they focus on different topics basically in speaking sessions. So if you watch the other ones, you will learn the same tips and tricks, but you will learn how to talk about other topics basically, and you will also learn vocabulary for those other topics too. So you can go and watch them on YouTube. So before we start, do you have any other questions for me? If not, I will start sharing my screen and we can start our class for this session. All right, I'm sure you can see my screen, I think. And can you see it if I make it full screen? I don't think so. Let's try that again. Sometimes it has some problems with working full screen. So for example, right now I see it in the full screen, but I don't think you do. So we will have to do this without the full screen then, I guess. Can you see it on full screen right now? Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
no? You can see it on full screen? All right, great then. What if I change my screen? Do you see something like internet slang? There's a new page, internet slang, which is orange. Can you see that right now? Yes, no?
You're on slide 1, ma'am.
Sorry? No, you cannot see it on the full screen then. What about now? I think you should be able to see it now.
It's on slide 2, right?
All right, so we can't do it full screen, but we will have to work like this then. All right, so today we will talk about internet and we will learn some vocabularies about internet. So, but before we start that, I want to give you like a brief information on IELTS speaking for those of you who do not know things about it. So, in the speaking section, you're required to speak not academically, but in like a general daily language. So it doesn't matter whether you take the academic exam or the general IELTS, they're both the same in the speaking section. So you will need to speak on a daily basis, which means that you can use the slangs too. So, for example, do you know what these slangs mean? So, do you know what BRB is? By the way, to answer me, you can use the chat box. I can see it too. And you can also raise your hand and ask to speak, and I will give you permission to speak. Or for those small things like this, you can just unmute yourself. All are fine. Do you know what BRB is? So BRB basically means that I will be right back. So it's the short version of be right back. So BRB means be right back. So when you're going to somewhere like for a really short period of time, you can say I'll be right back, or you can say BRB. They're both fine, but these slangs usually are used in the chats or like where you type really daily language. So basically, they're not those like really academic things or really daily things that you might hear people say basically. What about LOL? I think this is a more common one. LOL. You can see this on a lot of funny videos as a comment section where they say LOL. Do you know what it means? Lots of laugh, yes. So it means that someone is laughing out loud, basically. It can be both lots of laugh or laugh out loud, which all necessarily mean that someone is laughing, someone finds this thing funny. What about BTW? BTW. BTW. Yes, Anna, as Anna said, it means by the way. So when you're explaining something, you can say by the way or BTW for short. What about LMK? And sorry, I'm just rejecting some people because this class is full. That's why I'm looking at the other screen. What about LMK? So this means that, for example, when you're talking to someone and you ask information from them, you can say, let me know, or for short, LMK. Let me know. Yes. What about FYI? So FYI is used while we're giving information to someone. You can say, for your information, or FYI, I was at home yesterday, for example. So FYI is short for your information. What about IMHO? IMHO. Yes, it means in my humble opinion. So again, when you're giving your opinion to someone, when you're sharing your opinion on a topic, on a certain topic, you can say in my humble opinion, or the short version, IMHO, basically. All right, let's move on to what we will learn today. Today, we will learn some tips and strategies regarding the speaking exam in IELTS, and we will learn some useful vocabulary related to the internet, the topic internet, where you can use on your speaking section. And we will also end the class with some discussion questions where we will have the exact same speaking exam together, and I will give you permission to speak. And it's really important that you participate in that speaking section, discussion section, because as I've said, it will be really the same with the exam that you're going to take in IELTS, and it will be really good practice if you kind of try to participate and talk as much as you can. And I will also be evaluating your answers. So I will give you like an overall band score when this class ends. So I really advise you to try to participate in those discussion questions. Now, let's start with the objectives. At the end of this class, you will learn to talk about your experiences about internet, an experience about internet or something related to that, your thoughts on the internet. Basically, if the topic internet comes up in your exam, you will be really good. So let's start with some tips and strategies. So our first tip today is that understanding the question and giving a relevant response are really, really important in IELTS speaking, because I don't know if you've ever taken the exam or if you know how it goes, but the examiner does not actually show you the questions. Instead, the examiner asks you the questions verbally, and they expect you to understand the question. And if you cannot understand the question, that means that you cannot give somewhat a relevant response, right? So understanding the question and giving a relevant response are really, really important. So while studying for speaking, I highly advise you to also practice your listening too, because if you cannot answer the question, then you won't be able to give a relevant response probably. So make sure that you're trying to hear, listen, and understand what's going on without actually seeing the words, basically. And while giving your answer, you need to be specific and give detailed information. So, for example, if the question asks you, do you enjoy studying? You cannot just say yes or no. You have to explain if you like studying or not in detail. You need to give examples and you need to give explanations as to why you're choosing that option. And while speaking, you will make some errors. It's all right. We all make them. English is not any of our first language, so we will make some errors. It's all right. What you need to do is to not worry about them and instead just correct your mistake if you can do it quickly, and move on. And if you cannot correct your mistake really quickly, then just don't worry about it. Just keep on speaking and forget about it, basically. So don't kind of hesitate to speak further because you've just made one or two mistakes. And the most important thing in IELTS speaking is to be confident and smile. And even if you're anxious while speaking in English, don't show it to the examiner. Because if you look confident, you will also make more errors, which will result in a loss of your band score, overall band score. Instead, just look confident, feel confident, like no one is expecting you to get like a error-free, mistake-free speaking exam. They just want to kind of have a daily conversation with you. Try to imagine that, like as if you're talking to a friend, and just be confident and smile. That will increase your score because it will increase your speaking. Any questions before we move on? We will move on to the vocabularies that we will use. If there are any questions, you can use the chat box or you can raise your hand and I will give you permission to speak. Both are fine. If there are no questions, let's move on to our vocabulary for today. So, in this part, we will learn some vocabularies related to the internet, the topic of internet. And in this part, we will match the words with their definition. So, you see words on the left side and the meanings on the right side, and we will have the words match them with their definitions. Do you know the first one? What does computer buff mean? Let me just make it closer. Do you know what computer buff means? So, a computer buff is a person. I will give you a tip like that. This one is a person. So, no, it's not a syndrome of tiredness resulting from long computer usage. It's a person. So, computer buff is someone who is good with technology, with computers. So, it's F. A user who is good at working with a computer is called a computer buff, basically. What about game changer? And in this part, I would really advise you to take notes of the words that you don't know, because you can later use them in your speaking in our discussion questions. So computer buff is a user who is good at working with a computer. What about a game changer? A game changer is something, it's a noun, as you can see, because it says "and" here. We understand that it's a noun. Do you know what game changer is? Yes, it's something such as a product or event that affects a situation or business very much. So a game changer is something like a product that affects something. So it affects something very, very much. So for example, you can say he's a game buff. He usually is good at game changers. He can understand them very quickly, for example. What about indispensable, which is an adjective? Indispensable. So, indispensable is something or someone that is indispensable, so good or important that you cannot manage without it. So indispensable basically means that we cannot live without something. And if we cannot live without something or someone, we call them indispensable. What about reliable? Sorry, technophobe. I missed one there. What about technophobe? So
Who
technophobe, sorry, someone unmuted themselves.
it's a Gmail, someone who dislikes new technology.
Yes, definitely. Technophobe is someone who dislikes new technology, who does not enjoy using them. Yes. What about reliable? Reliable. It comes from the verb rely on, to give you a tip. Rely on.
I
Rely.
think it's C, ma'am.
It's
C.
C. A
C.
symptom of tiredness?
Yes, ma'am.
Not really.
Okay.
All right. Any other guesses? Any other predictions? There's a prediction H. Reliable means something can be trusted or believed because he, she, or it works or behaves well in the way you expect. So when someone can be trusted, we call them reliable. So for example, if you share your screen secrets with your best friend, that means that your best friend is a reliable person. So you can trust them. Reliable means that. What about stream? To stream. Stream is to send continuous sound or moving images using computers. So basically, when you stream something, you can send them something like continuous images or sounds, and also you can stream videos, and you can also stream tears. So for example, you can say tears streamed down his face. So that means that tears flew down his face. What about to be, get, or keep in touch? Yes, it means to communicate with somebody. So if you keep in touch with someone, you communicate with them regularly. And what about computer fatigue? Yes, it's C. So it's a syndrome of tiredness resulting from long computer usage. So when you use computers for long hours, you will get computer fatigue, for example. So you will be really tired. Maybe you will have a headache. And then we say that you have a computer fatigue, basically. And I see someone familiar in the chat box, Abby. So you're done with your speaking today. Really good. I hope it went well. Good to see you back. Now, let's move on to the fill in the blanks part. So in this part, we will use the words that we have just learned about, and we will use them in our sentences. So let's talk about the first one. About 60% of IT specialists are affected by what? What do you think 60% of IT specialists are affected by? So, do you think they can be affected by, yes, computer fatigue? Definitely. So, because they use it so much, IT specialists use computers so much, they have to be on the computer like for long hours, they can be affected by computer fatigue. Definitely. What about the second one? Even something will find this new software simple to use. So, this person or these people
Computer buff, I think, ma'am.
computer buff, let's remember what it was someone who was good at working with computer. So it's, I think, expected that computer buffs will find softwares easy to use. I think this should be something like people who dislike technology. So yes, as Anna and Abby said in the chat box, even technophobes will find this new software simple to use because remember, technophobes were people who disliked new technology. And even if these people dislike technology, this sentence says, they will find this software simple to use. So they will be able to use it even if they don't like technology. So yes, even technophobes, and in the plural form, will find this new software simple to use. What about the next one? Are you still something with your friends from college? So, yes, we can say, are you still in touch with your friends from college? Which means that, do we still see each other? Do we still keep in touch? Do we still talk to each other, basically? And let us turn off our cameras and our mics when we're not speaking. If you want to speak, you can raise your hand and I will give you permission to speak, or you can use the chat box. Both are fine. And for the newcomers, we're on the fill in the blanks part, we're trying to fill in these sentences with the words that are on the screen. What about the fourth one? Computers have become an something part of our lives. So computers have become an something part of our lives. It's not really stream because it has an in front of it. It's not a. So this will be something like we use it all the time. It's not really game changer or technophobe because, again, we have an in front of it instead of a, and we have to put in something like, yes, indispensable. Computers have become an indispensable part of our lives, which means that we use it all the time. We cannot not use it on a daily basis because we use it every day, every time, every hour, basically. What about the fifth one? On YouTube, millions of videos are something every day. Yes, it's the word stream, but the correct version of stream here should be on YouTube, millions of videos are streamed every day in the passive form because the videos do not stream themselves, right? So we have to stream them, which means that we need to put the passive voice. And if you don't know what passive voices are, I would highly advise you to look it up, study for active passive voices in your grammar books or online or wherever, because they're really useful. They will come up as really useful in your IELTS exam. What about the sixth one? The hit show has been something for the network. Sorry, I have to reject a few people because we're full. Yes, just a second. All right, so you said the hit show has been a game changer for the network. Yes, that was really correct. So, which means that this hit show has been really good for our, let's say, services. What about the seventh one? Some web pages can give us something information. Yes, reliable information. Remember, reliable is an adjective, so we can use it in front of a noun. So some web pages can give us reliable information, basically means that they give us good information that we can trust. And the last one is, yes, computer buff. He's a computer buff. You can ask him anything about computers, so he knows all about them, basically. All right. Are there any questions before we move on about any of these words or how they're used? And have you taken notes of the ones that you don't know? Yes, you've taken notes? All right. Then let's move on to our next page where we will start with the small talks. Oops, sorry. Yes. So in your IELTS exam, in the first session, they will, when you enter this room, they will first ask you for your identification. You will give it to them and you will say, yes, here is my identification. They will ask you your name and you can say, my name is this and that. And you can also say how you want to be called. So you can say, for example, my name is Gizem, but you can call me Gigi. So if you have a preferred name, you can use you can ask the examiner to use that name as well. And then the examiner will inform you on how the session will go. They will say that the session is recorded, and if you have any problems with that, you will say no, and because they have to record it. And then they will ask you a few questions in part one. So in part one, what the examiner is doing is to actually trying to get to know you a bit. So they will ask you questions about your personal life, like where you live, or do you enjoy reading books, or do you like ice cream, or something like that. So basically, they will ask you questions that where you will have to give your opinion or your point of view, or talk about yourself or your family, basically. And in this part, each answer should be around 20 to 40 seconds. It shouldn't be longer than 40 or 45 seconds maximum, because they have a time limit for each and every test taker. And if you talk longer than the required amount, then the examiner might stop you, interrupt you while you're speaking, and that might kind of decrease uh, your level of speaking. Maybe you might get anxious because the speaker stopped you, the examiner stopped you. So try to time yourself while speaking and try to see how long you're speaking, and try not to exceed that 20-40 second time limit, basically. So there's a question on the chat box. I will read that really shortly, and then I'll come back to part one, small talk. So Abby says, I'm in the metro, maybe connection get lost for a sec. All right, so that wasn't requiring an answer. Abby, I will try to get you, but because this session is restricted with a few people, I cannot promise anything, but I will try to. Because you've joined every single class, basically. So let's answer this question. So our first question for today is, how important is the internet to you? So for example, internet is really important for me because I use it on a daily basis while I'm giving online classes. I have a lot of students depending on my internet connection and whether I can provide them a class um, without any interruptions, basically. So I would say internet is very crucial for me. What about you guys? Anyone who wants to answer this question? So in this class, because this is the speaking section, I would highly advise you to raise your hand and participate and speak, because that's what's going to happen in your IELTS exam. You will have to speak. And don't be shy. You can make mistakes. It's all right. We're here to learn. All right? So I would really advise you to speak. Yes, Anna, go ahead.
Apparently, the internet takes very important part in my life because I use it not just to keep myself updated. I also use the internet to educate myself, to take different courses, and I think that internet improves our life crucially.
Thank you so much. So since there's not anyone who raised their hand, I will kind of comment on your speaking. Basically, while you're answering, like a lot of you, each and every one of you should try to paraphrase the question rather than just read it or say the same thing. So, for example, because the question says important, we should include the synonyms like crucial or significant or vital or whatever you feel like internet means to you. So basically, try not to repeat the question, but instead try to kind of paraphrase it using different words and vocabulary. Yes, Ans. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. It's really a big opportunity for us to that you are teaching us free of cost, and I'm really thankful to you and your all team, and appreciate your efforts for promoting education.
Thank
It's due to internet. Because of internet, it's possible. So thank you so much.
you. Are you continuing speaking because I cannot hear you?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I was saying that it's a great opportunity that you are that you providing to us to improve English and prepare us for IELTS. And I really appreciate you and all your team for your patience.
Thank you.
And it's it is possible due to internet that I am talking to you. I am from Pakistan and you from London, UK, and it's due to internet, and
Hmm.
it's a great blessing of God.
Hmm. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I can hear myself from your microphone. Uh, so I don't know what I'm going to say. Thank you so much for your kind words. Um, but while answering, you don't need to thank us, any of us. Try to get the best of it. Like try to um, enjoy it and learn as much as you can. Um, and also, I'm asking this of both of you. Try to kind of give more detail as to um, why the internet is important to you, because yes, we all said that internet is important and it's good and useful because we can take classes, like even remote ones. Let's try to give that more detail. So for example, you can say I'm taking IELTS classes, or I have taken IELTS classes because of internet, otherwise I wouldn't be able to, or kind of like that. Yes, Binaya, go ahead. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Oh, your mic is still not working? All right. For those of you who cannot unmute themselves, you will have to allow the microphones and the camera while you're first joining this class, because the Notion asks you whether it can use your microphone or camera, and you have to allow it to be able to unmute yourself and speak. All right. Any others who wants to speak and answer this question? Yes, Bimal. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. It's great to having internet access to me, ma'am, because
Mhm.
I love to learn something new and watch and learn. IELTS also needs internet access. That much, ma'am.
All right, thank you. That was a bit short, but still, we're just starting, so we'll get
Yes, ma'am.
better. All
It's
right.
it's first time to speak.
It's the first time you're speaking?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll get better. It's all right. Yes, I think Farzin or Farzan, I don't know.
Okay, ma'am.
You raised your hand. You can
Yes,
speak if you
ma'am.
want to. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Uh,
right.
Ma'am, it's first time, and I
It's
don't
all
know
right.
what to
Don't worry.
speak.
It's all right. So just talk about internet in general and what is it good for.
Internet is very important in our life as we can't study without it. We make our assignments, and we also take classes, like we can achieve different certificates on online courses, and uh, I don't know what to say more.
All right, but that was really, really good. It was really good. Don't worry about it. Don't be anxious.
Well,
I made a
it's
lot of
really
mistakes.
first time to speak. I think next time it will improve.
Definitely.
Okay, ma'am. बस
I, I'm sure all of you will speak better once you practice more. For example, Abi, who is a former student of ours, joined like every single class that we have, and I think he has gotten so much better. I think all of you will achieve the same thing, basically. I think Danish,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
maybe, you raised your hand. You can speak if you want to.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
It's me, Dr. Dani.
Hmm.
Yeah, internet has become basic in it has become the basic necessity of our life that we have to do anything and we have to use internet. And it is such an important thing that each and everything we have to use internet through calling and through receiving calls and through receiving classes nowadays in covid situations and other situations. So it has become a necessity for our lives that we have to use internet, and through the sessions that we have to attend workshops and many other things. So it's a good invention though that was happened in 18th or 19th century, and thanks to them. And this is the reason that we have interconnected with you, ma'am, and we are learning more English from you.
All right,
So
that was a
this is
really
what
good
my
and
point
detailed
is.
answer. Thank you so much. Um, I want to just ask Binaya, you're still raising your hand. Were you able to fix your microphone issues, or did you just forget it? Can you speak right now? No? Yes? I think not. All right, so Abhi, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm sorry for this background disturbance. I'll try to answer as soon as possible. Yeah. Coming to the internet, as we all know, in this era, there are plethora of reasons to describe about internet, and we also know that how much importance like internet having for oneself's life today's. So by internet, we are able to interconnect. Like we are able to connect with every single person from corner to corner of this world.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, internet is the like basic necessity for us.
All right. Really good detailed answer, but I think sometimes your internet connection is not working that well because there were like a few things that I couldn't hear, but it's all right. Thank you so much. Yes, Jaipal. Which one is correct?
Yeah, ma'am. Jaipal.
Jaipal?
Internet, yeah.
All right.
Of course, internet is very important to me, as it is very useful for my official communication on day-to-day basis, and also it helps me to take evening classes for my IELTS class preparations.
Mhm.
Uh, Internet, without internet, we can't imagine life actually these days. Uh, in every phase of our day-to-day life, we have to use internet, and so it's very important for me.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, Gothami, is that correct?
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Hello. Go ahead.
Uh, internet internet is plays a vital role in my life because as a professor,
Um.
from the since from the pandemic, uh, everyone is going for the work from. So most of the people are doing the jobs from the home. So this internet is playing a crucial role in their life, like me. And um, internet also playing a major role in students' life also, because most of the students are going going to take new courses and building their career.
Mhm. All
Thank you,
right.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. That's enough and really good. A bit long, but still, it's all right. Let's move on to another question then. I think all of you have answered this one. So our second question is, how often do you use the internet? And please try to paraphrase the question instead of repeating the same words, because that will increase your points a lot. So for example, I engage with internet a few times during the day because I have a lot of online classes. I teach my students for maybe 8 hours a day. That's why I kind of use it a lot, and I connect to internet and I connect with other people from various parts of the world, and it's really useful for me. Yes, Abby, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. In my point of view, I must say, I like my internet like
Um, I think because you're on the road, it went off again. Let's come back to you when you reach your destination. Is that all right? Yes, Japal.
I use internet for full of my day. I start the day with opening my mobile for seeing WhatsApp or Facebook or some official communication. Then in the daytime, I will be communicating to various colleagues and suppliers on my laptop for official jobs. And in the evening, I take the classes for IELTS preparation. So it is I'm fully using it for the whole day. Thank you.
All right. Really good answer. Really detailed. Long enough. Really good. Yes, Ans, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I use internet uh, almost whole roundabout whole the day. Uh, I use internet for arts preparation also, and also I have applied in 2 or 3 universities through online. Now the world is digital, and we can do everything with internet. And I applied into 2 or 3 universities through internet.
Mhm.
So it's a necessity for us.
All right. Really good. Maybe try to focus on the period of time that you use the internet for. So, for example, you can say, I use it maybe 8 hours a day, 2 hours a day, whatever that is. Or maybe every day, every month, something related to that. But other than that, it was good. Yes, Gauthami, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes. I can say that I can use
I think there are internet issues,
sorry.
so I cannot hear you clearly.
Someone is speaking, but I don't know who and what you're saying. Can you repeat that?
I think there are some internet issues though, so I could not hear you clearly.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Japal, is that you? No?
No, ma'am. I have
No.
spoken already.
All right. I don't know who is asking this question, but I basically commented on Japal's speaking, and now we're giving permission to speak to Ans because he wanted to answer the question. That was basically it. All right, Ans, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I was saying, internet is the most important thing in our life. I use internet almost whole the day, and it's a necessity for us that we cannot delete in our daily life. Uh, we connect our friends and family with mobile phone through calls and internet, and use different apps with help of different apps.
All right, really good. Thank you so much. Any others? Yes, Anna, go ahead.
I usually use the internet throughout the day, even though it can be very distracting because when I use the internet for my work, very often I go to any kind of social network. I would like to see what kind of message I received, if anything is new. So it has advantages and disadvantages because the internet also can be very distracting for people who use it a lot.
Yes, thank you so much. Really good, great length. Yes, Gauthami, go ahead.
Yes, I can say that I'm using internet approximately 8 10 hours in a day, because as I am I'm doing my work from the home. I can use approximately 7 hours for that, and more 3 hours for any extracurricular activities which I am going to know now, like online courses and some social media.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Really good. Yes, Bamal.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I use internet my entire day. Mostly, I am with my mobile playing games and watching videos and lots of things. I use internet for learning as well as entertainment. I use social media like WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Ma'am.
All right. And how often do you use it?
Uh, I think 8 to 10 hour a day.
8 to 10 hours a day. All right. Thank
Yes, ma'am.
you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
anyone else who wants to answer the question? All right. If not, let's move on to another question. By the way, Binaya, I saw your answer. I will comment on that really quickly. So, it's really good, accurate answer. You just have to kind of make sure that you're using the correct grammar, because sometimes, for example, you have to say you have to update instead of updated. So make sure that you're using the correct grammar. And if you don't know how to use them, I would suggest you to kind of study for the grammar, the tenses first, while you're also trying to practice your speaking, basically. All right, what about this question? Do you think that the internet is useful for studying? I think we've kind of also answered this one while answering the other questions, but still, uh, let's try to focus on the studying part. How is the internet useful for studying? Or do you think it is useful? Because sometimes, for example, I am of the opinion that sometimes the internet is really bad for my students, because even though we can connect online and we can learn a lot while we're speaking through the internet, it's also really disadvantageous when they use it to stream videos and be on the social media like Instagram and Snapchat forever. They sometimes forget to study, and that's kind of bad for their studying. What about you guys? What do you think? The internet is good or bad for our studies? And don't be hesitant to repeat yourself. You can repeat yourself as much as you want. Uh, just try to speak, participate whenever you can. Yes, Jepal.
Uh, in my opinion, internet is very useful for studying. It gives us access to certain study material which is posted on various networks, be it Google or YouTube or any other media. And with internet, we can go to various sites and find the most useful one for studying. And it gives us access to many books and in fact research papers and reliable sources for study. So it is pretty much important for study.
All right, thank you so much. Really good, detailed. You have a lot of examples. Really, really good. Anyone else who wants to answer this question? Yes, Anna, go ahead.
Well, I would say that internet is useful enough for our studying, because due to the internet we can find different sources like Wikipedia and any other online encyclopedias. Also, we can find a lot of lot of sites that provides different kind of lessons. But I think that along with the internet studying, we shouldn't neglect usual type of studying like going to school or university. That's why I think that to provide better quality of education, we should combine these two ways of studying, like usual studying and online studying as well. So like this we can benefit the most from all the information.
All right, that was really good. A really good answer. Thank you so much, because you really gave your opinion and you used like different vocabularies for that. Even though you started with repeating the same question, you've shown that you know different vocabularies, and that increases your score a lot. Really good, really, really detailed. Any others? Any others who wants to answer this question? Maybe yes, Ans, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I was saying, internet is really a good thing, and it is useful in every field of life. And we use internet for study purposes, and the because of internet, I am talking to you and learning from you. It's just due to internet that I connect to you, and you are serving me your study. uh, that's why internet is a very good thing, and that's it.
All right, thank you so much. Yes,
Mhm.
Farzan, go ahead. Can you hear me, Farzin? You can speak. Let me ask you to speak. Can you guys hear me? Is there a
Yes, yes,
problem?
ma'am. Sorry.
All right, no, it's all right.
Yes, ma'am. I think internet is very important for our studying, as it allows us to access uh, different types of assignments that we search on Google or uh, mm, any other source like YouTube. It also give us idea to do different things, like we can as a science student, we can watch experiments and do it in better way. That's all.
All right, thank you so much. Really good. Yes, Gothami, I think you're next.
Yes, definitely the internet is very useful for study because for while using with from you we will study from the university, but we can also study from the internet as our interest. uh, Someone will have their own interest other than which will be taught in the university, so we can go for the our interest to we will learn more things about our interesting things which we will interest in the field. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, Bimal, I think you're next. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, yes, ma'am. It's very helpful for studying. Internet is very important. Due to the lockdown, there are lots of colleges, schools are closed, but internet uh, plays game changer for educational field also.
Mhm.
And internet provides us uh, most educational materials and in different ways that makes us interesting to read and so on. Ma'am.
All right, thank you. And thank you for using the word game changer. I think you've learned it here, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
All
you.
right, really good. It's really good that you're trying to, all of you are trying to put those newly learned words into use, because you can make an habit out of it, and then you can actually use them in your speaking session. Really, really good. All right. I think all of you have answered this question. Yes. Or is there anyone else who wants to speak? If not, let's move on to the discussion part. So basically, in this part, this is the second part of your speaking exam. In this part, the examiner will give you a card, a cue card or a topic card. It's called a lot of things. They will give you a card, and on the card, you will see a question like this. So it will ask you to describe a time that you looked for information on the internet, and you will have other questions like saying, you should say when it happened, what you were looking for, where you were searching on the internet, and how you felt about the information. And you can use any of the words that we have learned today, or you can use other words. It's not important. But you will have 1 minute to prepare your answer in the speaking exam, and you will have to talk for 2 minutes. And it's important that you kind of make a story out of it. So really describe a time, like really, really describe it when you looked for information on the internet. So you don't have to answer everything here. You should just kind of tell a story to the examiner, and you will naturally answer all these while giving your answer, because these are like general questions related to the actual question. All right, so I'm giving you 1 minute to prepare your answers, and then I will give you permission to speak when you raise your hands. So your 1 minute time starts now. All right, who wants to go first? So you don't have to speak for 2 whole minutes. It's necessary that you speak for 1.5 minutes minimum. But when you exceed 1.5 minutes, you don't have to speak for 2 whole minutes. So 1:30 will be fine. Anyone who wants to go first? Or should I read the example answer to you first? Let's read the example first. Then maybe you will feel better. So as the question goes, it asks you to describe a time that you looked for information on the internet, and we should say when it happened, what we were looking for, where we were searching on the internet, and how we felt about the information. So our example answer is, to begin with, I'd like to say that I'm always using the internet, but if I have to mention a specific time I used it, there's one piece of information I can remember searching for. It was when I was starting to learn how to do some basic coding a couple of months ago. At the time, I was desperately trying to find a structured course where I could learn how to code. The course had to not only be free, but or of little cost, but also up to date with the trends of 2019. I used my brain and my trusty Google Chrome browser alongside google.com for this task. Thankfully, in the end, after looking at over a dozen articles, I ended up finding what I was looking for. I felt pretty satisfied after that because, as I mentioned, I checked overloads of articles and I was ready to give up. Had it not been for an article on medium.com, I wouldn't have found anything. One more thing that is that the article was written by an industry expert and has helped me a lot since, and I hope I'll be able to learn how to code better in the future as well. So this is a really good a high score band example. You don't have to, of course, use these different grammar structures. such as had it not been, which is a really, really, really advanced grammatical structure. You don't have to use really those academic, really good structures. Just try your best to be mistake-free. And even if you make mistakes, don't worry about them, as I've told you before. Just try your best. Yes, Farzin, go ahead. You can speak, Farzin.
I had searched for many times, but last time when I searched just before starting this class, and I was searching for some courses like to improve or for making my CV good, and I was searching on Coursera and also on the Clasital, but I could not find any course related to my field and also not free of cost. So uh, until I don't find any course, and that's all.
All right, that was a bit short. I think we can make it rather longer. And since there's not anyone else who are raising their hands right now, let's try to make that answer longer. So, how did you feel while looking for that information?
Ma'am, I could not find any specific, sorry, any
Yes, it was.
information, and uh, I'll search more and hope so I'll find.
Mhm. So, for example, you can make up anything. You can say, I was really angry. I punched the wall because I couldn't find any free courses. I really wanted to increase my CV or whatever. So, I was really upset. You can make up anything. You can lie in this exam, by the way, all of you. You can lie
Yes,
because the examiner cannot prove that you're lying. So, you can
yes,
say
ma'am.
whatever you
Okay,
as long as you
thank you
don't
so
say I killed the person, it's all right.
much.
All right. Any comments?
Okay.
Anything you want to ask? Do you want to ask anything?
No, ma'am.
All right. I think I blocked you because I was speaking. I couldn't hear what you said. Sorry. All right.
So,
So let's move on to Japal. You raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am. I use internet quite often for searching many informations on day-to-day basis. I will rather explain one to you. It is regarding searching for a class, online class uh, for my IELTS preparation, and I searched for. I went to Google for searching the online free classes. It was actually I am a working person, and so I have very less time in the daytime. So I was looking for classes which were for evening classes when I am at home and would be able to get the classes. Uh, I searched for many classes on the net. Actually, I went to YouTube also and watched some few of the videos already loaded by various teachers, and finally I've joined Clasital. I found it on Google and I found it very useful. Uh, so I'm joining classes on day-to-day basis in the evening and find it very useful for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Really good answer. Detailed. It was long enough. Really good. I think the next person that raised their hand is Abby. Abby, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry for the disturbance, but now I'm just settled down in my house.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am. Coming to this topic, to start with this, I must say I'd like yeah, I usually use like internet on a regular basis. Like my not a single moment my passes through without using it. But coming to the specific topic, if I have to talk about, I'm
Sorry.
so sorry. Someone's phone is beeping.
All right.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Yeah, I'll just
I'm
start
sorry.
it again. No, not. It's okay. So when just
My God. Sorry, it's someone repeatedly calling me. All right.
not an issue, ma'am.
I'll just
Should I
tell them
start?
I'm in class. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Coming to this topic, I must say about it is about my IELTS subject. Like if I was really struggling for my IELTS preparation, I was looking through over and over numerous times that if I was not getting my classes like as according to me for like free of cost. Actually, I was getting like plethora like numerous classes, but that all are paid for me, and I was not able to afford them. So I guess there are some algorithm used by Google. If you search something for numbers of time, so it will automatically start suggesting you over some different kinds of application if you are using through. So once I was just sitting on my couch and scrolling Instagram, like a notification popped up from Clasital. So I being a curious learner, I just start watching. Uh, I just gone through the site and I just found it is the Clasical providing me the free classes on a regular basis, and which is really helpful for me. Like which I found really helpful because they are not only um, surrounding themselves on a specific topic, they are covering all the four modules of IELTS. So I started preparing with them. I just being a punctual I just shown my punctuality over to them, and I just started learning with them. And now I look myself, I found myself in a very uh, different way. I must say classical changes my way of speaking when it comes to the English. So yeah, it's all about the specifically IELTS preparation.
All right. Thank you so much. Really good, really detailed answer.
And you are not
And
audible.
I agree with you that you've come a long way. You're speaking way more confidently. It's really, really good. I'm really happy with your improvement, actually. Yes, Anna, go ahead. Anna, are you there?
Can you hear me? Because I think that I'm facing some connection problems. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, great. So, um, as far as I remember, the first time I encountered the internet, it was maybe 15 years ago when I was a student and I was carrying out my research for my marketing studying. I also should outline that at that time the internet was something new for us, and people tend to use more sources of information such as books and magazines. At that time people went to libraries, but
I think I cannot hear you. Can you guys hear Anna? Hmm. I think Anna has lost.
Oh, ma'am.
All right, maybe a loss of connection. All right. Any others who wants to answer? Yes? No? All right, let's move on to the third part then. And when Anna comes back, we'll give her permission to speak and answer the second question, basically. So, part 3 in IELTS speaking is where the examiner and the test taker will answer really good. Sorry, not the examiner, of course. The test taker will answer some deep questions like, is the information on the internet reliable? So, yes, they will ask for your opinion, but they will be on topics like more general topics rather than getting to know you, like personal information topics. So, our first question for today is the information on the internet reliable? I wouldn't say it always is. For example, I can see a lot of spams which kind of try to steal our information and maybe like bank accounts, and there are a lot of like people who try to get money from others. I don't think it's always reliable, and we shouldn't kind of believe everything we see. And this was an example information. Sorry, answer. And Anna, I think I cannot. I think there's something wrong with your internet connection because we couldn't hear you, and I think people can see the screen. Am I right? I think it must be something related to the internet connection. All right. So maybe you can try the mobile service if that's available. If you can fix that, we can come back to you to talk about the second question. All right, Abby, go ahead. You've raised your hand.
Ma'am, do I have to answer both or anyone I can answer?
Maybe the first one first, and then the second one.
Oh,
We will go to the
okay,
second.
okay.
All right.
Yeah, like ma'am, there are plethora of reason if we talk about that the internet information is reliable for us or not. But yeah, if we talk about specifically some point, then there are they have their own pros and cons. It might be useful to some of those persons which are related to them. Like if we talk about some specific website, like those who are indulged with IT section or some website thing, so that are useful for them. But yeah, if coming to the spam thing, as we all know that a spammer has made their different world over internet. They use some kinds of mailing, like mails and messaging to to hack some of our social site as well as to our personal bank account. So there are many of reason. We cannot outweigh things for this.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any others who wants to answer the first question? Or we can move on to the second one too. How has the internet changed social behaviors? So, for example, a lot of people do not speak to their friends. They just meet up and look on Instagram, which is kind of a really basic thing that we see every day. And it also caused people to lose connection. And every relationship kind of is shown on the internet, and if it's not on the internet, then it's not real, kind of. People think like that. Yes, Avi, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. For this time, I must say, people use their social ID to chit chat with their friends rather than going get together, having get together to any cafe or park. But and in my point of view, I must say I am also a very introvert person. I used to speak. I don't used to speak much. I just I like to chat with my colleagues or my relatives one. But internet really helped me for this. I started looking some kinds of videos that how someone become an extrovert person to the society and to oneself as well. So I must say in my scenario, I am also initially I'm an introvert person, but the internet changed me a lot. Now today I'm a social butterfly. I used to share all the things which is going in my daily life.
All right, thank you so much. Really, really good answer, and it's really good that you put the word social butterfly there. It's not really common, so it will increase your points. It will increase your score a lot. Yes, Japal, go ahead.
Internet has changed social behavior a lot. Now, modern society has moved from a real world to a virtual world. In fact, people have stopped meeting personally to their relatives and friends, in fact, and they prefer to chat or call on the internet only. And actually, there is one bad point about the social behavior effect of the internet is that people have become more judgmental about the others. They comment very frequently and badly on the uh, posts streamed by other guys, and this has resulted into a bad atmosphere across the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Really good answer. And you've used some vocabulary that's really good as well, like nervous. It's really natural to use in a daily language. So, really good. Any others who wants to answer these questions? Any one of them or both of them? All right. If not, let me share a link with you really quickly. So I will send you a link right now before you go, which is a survey link. For those of you who are new here, we share a survey link at the end of every class, and we try to get your thoughts on how the class was, and your thoughts and comments are really important for us because we take each and every one of them very seriously. We check whatever you write and we try to kind of incorporate them in our work. So we try to take those really into account. So I will share this survey with you and then continue this class with some comments and your band scores basically. But before you go, before we start the comments, what you need to do is to practice as much as you can. And if you want, you can join our other live lessons too. And there are also materials on the Clasital webpage where you can find in the library. You can watch any videos related to any part of IELTS exam in that library, basically. So I've sent you the survey, I've give you the links. All right, now we can talk about how you did. So to start with, Anna, before I start with your commentary, do you have a better internet connection? Do you want to answer the questions or should we just move on? I don't know if she can hear me. Maybe not. All right, move on. All right, Anna. So basically, I think you would get, regarding the answers to the first part, of course, you would get something like a 7, because 7, maybe 7.5 if you do a bit better, because you got a 7, a 6.5, and a 7.5 from me. The reason is that you used a lot of synonyms, which was really good, but sometimes you kind of tend to, how can I say this, repeat the same things and kind of stop while you're speaking, like pause while you're speaking. That's why I cannot confidently say like you would get an 8, but you would definitely get a 7, something like a 7 or 7.5 if you kind of improved it just a little bit. So it's really close to 7.5. And Bimal, you're the next one who spoke. You would get something like maybe a 5.5 right now, because I gave you like 4.5, 5, and 6 in your last answer. I think the reason was you've again, and this goes for all of you, that all of you kind of repeated the question mostly, and repeating the question does not make you gain points in terms of your lexical resources, your vocabulary. That's why you would get kind of these points rather than better ones. But other than that, I think most of you have answered the question. Bamal, your answer was kind of shorter at first. That's what also reduced your points, basically. And Farzin, you were really excited, and it shows. And by the way, Bamal and Farzin, this was your first practice session, so don't worry about my scoring, because they will eventually increase a lot. Because the first time you speak is actually the worst, like for all of us. So don't worry about your points right now. Try to join as many classes as you can and try to practice as much as you can. And then you will definitely get better, because Abi, I always give your example, but Abi also was not that good when he first came. He was really anxious and nervous to speak too. But then, as you can see right now, he tries to answer each and every single question, and he answers long enough. So you will get better. Trust us. So Farzin, no, you don't get a 2.2. You actually get like a 4.5 or 5. Because, yes, your answers were short, but I tried to not take that into account that often, because I know both of you are answering me shortly because you're just nervous. You will get better as you practice, so I try to not take into that account that much. But you were both grammar-wise not that bad, so you could get the points that you're getting right now. Abi, I will comment on you. Of course, you got better again. 7.5, maybe even an 8, if you keep on using those synonyms and giving those really detailed answers. But at least a 7.5, basically. And you've used a lot of synonyms, which was really good. And you got an 8 from me in your last answer, which is, I think, the first time. Binaya, I couldn't really hear you speak, so I cannot give you a really detailed analysis. I just saw your answer in the chat box, and it had a few grammatical mistakes. And I think it was not long enough for me to evaluate you. But if you try to maybe write answers to more questions, or if you attend a class while you can actually speak, I think you will get better evaluations from me. But right now, I don't have enough info to kind of comment on anything. I'm sorry for that. But it seems like you would have to talk longer and try on focusing on grammatical abilities a bit. Uh, no need to say sorry to me. I'm seeing your messages. You don't need to say sorry. It's all right. We all have internet connection problems sometimes. I'm sorry that I couldn't evaluate you. And Ans, you would get, I think, a 6.5 or something like that. The reason is that, again, you tended to repeat the question too. And I think a lot of you, like most of you, missed that detailed example part in your answers. That's why you would get like a 6.5. Japel, let me see. You've got a lot of different band scores from me. For your first answer, you got a 5 from me, but then you got a 7, 7.5, 6.5, and 7. So overall, I would say you would get like a 6.5 or 7. So I think the first one was just due to maybe nervousness, or you were anxious, something like that. And I just told you, I think you might have missed it. It's all right. You would got like something like a 6 or 6.5. Again, I think the main reason was that you were repeating the question and you were not giving enough information, like enough detail. So in every question, and I'm saying this to all of you, try to paraphrase the question first, and then try to give like a specific example. You can even say, like, I went to this place the other day, and I used internet to kind of email my mother. You can give it like unimportant small details like that too, that would still be detailed, and that would give you a really good score, basically. Abby, I will give you permission to speak in a second. So basically, to get closer to 8, I will answer like in general. To get closer to 8, what you need to do is to be more fluent and paraphrase more, like paraphrase everything you hear and give details. Try to speak naturally, confidently, and use those vocabularies, those idioms. And do you remember those idioms? I don't know if you remember, but in our different sessions, we've learned about different idioms that a native speaker would use on a daily basis. Try to use those idioms that people use on a daily basis, which will get you closer to 8.5 or 9 even, basically. Detailed, confident, mistake-free, almost mistake-free, understands every question, and uses natural English, natural daily English, gets you to like 8, 8.5, and 9. Yes, Abby, you can ask me questions, and I will send you the survey link. Someone requested that. So my name is Gizem. The survey will ask you to fill that in. I would really appreciate it if you
Yeah,
comment
ma'am.
anything. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, I just want to like speak about my today's exam. Actually, in part one and part three, I was really good according to me. Like I was beyond the crowd. I just spoke for more than actually for 4 to 5 times that invigilator stopped me or again and again that I was just speaking and she was like, okay, Abhi, time's up, time's up. So this will not impact in my result, na? That I was like going with the flow. I'm just speaking. So I just want to know, does this show some negativity to my score or?
Not necessarily and not greatly, but if that was repeated like maybe 5 times, because the examiner is also a person, and even though they don't admit it, they might affect your score a bit. But it wouldn't increase or decrease your score from like an 8 to 6, for example. It doesn't affect your score that much. If you were good in your speaking, you would still get more or less the same result that you're going to get. Maybe they would be annoyed for 1 or 2 questions, but they cannot change your overall score, basically.
Okay, ma'am. Actually, it happened that she some asked some question and I was just like answering them, and maybe some time foundations he have like just because my test was video conferencing, it's not like in person. So maybe I feel that that's why she has some foundation. So she was just stopping me. If I'm not wrong, she stopped me thrice or 4 times.
I don't
Like
think
I'm just speaking the. Ma'am.
I don't think it's gonna affect your score that much because, as I've said, they have a time limit. That's why they have to stop you. And so I don't think it's gonna affect your score that much. But if you're getting a score that is really, really low than what you were expecting, you can always say, "Let's check that again," because they recorded too.
Okay, sure, ma'am, definitely. I was just concerned about this that maybe if I did some wrong, like I was just speaking and like my invigilator, again and again stopping me. So
No, don't worry about it. And even if you have to worry about it, don't, because it's what's happened has already happened, kind of. Don't worry about it.
yeah, ma'am,
And
definitely. Okay,
I
ma'am.
will answer Gothami's question. I didn't say yours. I'm sorry. So basically, I gave you like a 7 or 7.5. 7 probably overall because you got 2 sevens. I think you got really good words that are like synonyms. You've used some. But you've also kind of tried to, again, tended to, repeat the question as far as I can remember and as far as I took notes of it. But 7, 7.5, they're really good first scores, I think. I think this is your first time too, at least in my class. I think your answers was overall detailed, kind of detailed enough at least, and long enough. That's why you would get like a 7, 7.5. And Anna, you say, I really appreciate the lesson, very useful and interesting. I'm losing the connection. Have a nice evening. Oh, all right. Have a nice evening too, Abby. Sorry, Anna. Ans, you raised your hand. You can speak.
Yes, ma'am. I was saying, how can I improve my vocabulary? I think I've not a good vocabulary.
So what you can do is you can first. I'm sorry. Can you unmute yourself because I hear myself lag?
Hmm. Ma'am, today I got nervous. You were saying then that and that was right. I got nervous in the class because it was first time I was talking to you in English.
It's really normal to get nervous. Sorry, can you unmute yourself? Then I can see. Oh, all right. I think I could do it. Um, so it's really nervous. Sorry, it's really normal and okay to feel nervous, especially for those newcomers. But you will get better once you join more classes and once you feel more relaxed. Um, so don't worry about feeling nervous. I was nervous the first time I gave this class too. It's really, really normal because English is none of our first language, right? So you will eventually get better. Um, what you can do to improve your vocabulary, to answer your question, and to improve grammar, they're basically the same. You have to study for those things that you don't know, and you have to try to incorporate them in your answers. So you can write the things that you don't know down, and you can try to use them. Like imagine yourself to be in the speaking section, and you can try to use those different grammatical structures and vocabularies in your answers while looking at them at first, and then try to not look at them and still use them in your later practices. Basically, to improve both grammar and vocabulary, take notes of what you don't know and what you cannot use, and try to use them while looking at them in your speaking, imagining yourself to be in the exam, and then don't look at them and try to use them still in your answer in your next practice. Basically, practice and study for the things that you don't know. And if you want to know which words you have to know, you can join our other classes because we have these vocabulary sessions in our every class, and you can watch the previous videos that we've done on YouTube, and they will help you a lot with idioms, collocations, different vocabularies that will increase your points. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you for joining the class. It was really, really good for me. I really enjoyed it. And thank you for speaking, participating. And don't worry if you get like not so desired scores. You will eventually be better. I have so much faith in all of you because you actually tried to participate and tried to talk. I'm sure you will get better. Hope to see you in our other classes. You can check which classes we have on the Clasital timetable, and hope to see you again. And hope you filled out the survey form, which I will send again. All right.